came on February 10th. North Korea is expected to suffer worse shortage of the year of production of 2009 climate, with the economy already under strain from the boycott of nuclear talks abroad. Currency move. North Korea is expected to suffer food shortage when 1 million tons of FAO said in December. North Korea is under undergoing pressure to turn to dialogue with Eastern powers who can handle when a large-scale economic aid return for steps in its nuclear arms program. South Korea is also said to resume food aid. North Korea's arms. U.S. sanctions supposed to have the North Korea's nuclear test last year have cut off lucrative bomb sales, and many of trading companies have been blacklisted to put under intense security. And sanctions are working now. The department that gives favors to key party leaders, which are needed to keep the elites in line, is currently in chaos. McCurry and Nassau and Fort 2. Room 39 is a nerve center in North Korea's money-making operation. The department dedicated to raising hard currency for Kim Jong-il while his country teetered on the brink of collapse. Today, with support of the department's head, Kim Jong-il, personal finance manager, has been sacked, possibly in response to international action against alleged illegal money-making. South Korea, at the time, an expert in North Korea University, and say also until he told the Associated Press, the new UN sanctions would be very, very effective and have a big impact on North Korea's secret funds. He said money generated by the Bureau is a very useful tool to control high-ranking officials in the party, the cabinet and military whose loyalty has been secured. The gifts as to luxury cars. Some of the money generated from Room 39 is used to buy the loyalty of senior party officials. The role that they on the greater prominence Kim Jong-il suffered a stroke in 2008, prepares to hand over the power to his third son. And North Korea will not give up their nuclear program. Bringing them back negotiating tables doesn't solve carpenter rights. North Korea is not honored its commitment, has violated its obligation with the non-proliferation treaty by establishing covert uranium program. Kim Jong-il government apparently expects the United States to forget about the lies, violations, simply pretend the agreed framework still in fact. Let's move ahead, lifting all sanctions. North Koreans are not promising to mandate nuclear weapons merely to freeze it again. And on the contention, first turn to the world, we're not using economic sanctions. We're complicit with the violence that is occurring in the country because we're not doing it to step anything which only use people as a mere means to an end, because we actively justify the actions from occurring. Second, non-unique. This is not unique. The governments we were saying are already doing these kind of rights violations, so there's no unique offense for treating people as a mere means to an end.
Alright. So how does this Carpenter argument answer the idea that the fundamental reason North Korea has been reluctant to accede to international systems of ethics regarding nuclear policy is their perceived isolation due to sanctions?
That says that is not the problem. That indicates that North Korea has incentives not to give up their nuclear materials, because they recognize that it's key for the legitimacy of Kim Jong-il's regime. So your evidence isolates a false causal mechanism. My argument is that even if they come back to the table once we lift sanctions, it says even if you are right, lifting sanctions good, they're not going to give up their nuclear materials.
This evidence is specific to how they will honor the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, not a new agreement that by Lynn evidence can happen if we...
It says Kim Jong-il's government expects the U.S. to forget about the lies, plus...
Yeah, it's talking about capitalize the agreed framework, the antecedent of which is the Nuclear
Non-Proliferation Treaty. Plus move ahead with lifting all sanctions. That's the F.
Plus move what?
It says how does move ahead.
Okay, wait.
It says
how does
Kim Jong-il.
The
The argument is that when Kim Jong-il is expecting them to lift sanctions, their agreement is not that they would give up their nuclear weapons. That evidence says the agreement is simply to freeze.
This evidence is from 2004. How does it assume any of the new developments that have occurred diplomatically with North Korea?
Because it takes into account the leader's rational, it's a question of how the leader views his nuclear weapons. If you read evidence that says Kim Jong-il does not think nuclear weapons key to legitimacy, that's fine, but I don't think you have that evidence.
Okay. Your SPOF evidence saying that we're on the brink of ecological destruction just says that aquatic habitats and marine fisheries have been destroyed. Why does this say that? Why does this prove that those types of fisheries are the deciding factor for global biodiversity?
Two arguments. The first is that it's very good at explaining how large amounts of fish have been overfished and nothing has been done to do that. The treaties we have are toothless, right? So the reason why that is true is per the impact evidence. It indicates a loss of a species causes loss of other species because of the dependency on other species.
This evidence says we have treaties on these issues, but they are toothless. The next sentence you highlight says all we have to do... Okay, so if we currently have treaties that are toothless, and if he says maintaining the status quo is bad, economic sanctions used to enforce existing treaties, I mean, how would those work?
No. The Tyler evidence I read says that trade, the current things like international law that we have on overfishing is not sufficient to solve. Then I read two pieces of evidence that indicate that we should implement new treaties with sanctions, or sanctions with teeth. That is the second piece of Tyler evidence that talks about how it would induce massive compliance. And then the Berger evidence talks about how it's empirically verified when we have implemented these new kind of sanctions.